Sports stories from the 419 in Northwest Ohio, brought to you by a voice you know. It's time to go around the area and around the Hearn.
Anyone who's been paying attention to the show knows I absolutely love and adore everything at Northwest Ohio, and I cannot find someone who fits that mold more than the current Seattle Seahawks offensive lineman, Mike Jerrell, the University of Findlay All-American. And I thought this was a cool thing about you, Mike. Just the fourth Oiler to be drafted, and this part kind of shows the journey you've had of the hard work of being a high school tight end at one point to being the only Division II player chosen in this year's draft. That's just got to be a testament to what you've had to go through.
Yeah, it is, man. It's been a long journey, to get where I'm at. Had some ups and downs, and I got down on myself at one point, and I wanted to give up at one point, but I know that it's always it's always something brighter ahead for you. So I know just kept going, keep striving, and it got me to where I'm at today. And I'm very grateful for the process. It made me who I am today.
Is it true though at Pike High School you were a pretty good basketball player?
I was an okay basketball player. I wouldn't say pretty good. I was okay. I was okay. I was more of a defender than anything, though. Defense was my thing. Offense was yeah.
Right,
so
let all the pretty boys do that.
Yeah. I wanted to do the dirty work. That was my game.
Hey, Dennis Rodman made an entire 20-year career out of it.
Yeah. 20-year career, man. Hall of Famer.
Hey, it's
Two-time Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah.
It's he's also a fascinating read if you've never read his book, but a lot of things go into that. I read a story about you that I thought was fascinating about how during your journey you had to change from being a tight end to being an offensive lineman, and kind of how that a lot of blocking still, but how your mentality changes to the point where when you were in the weight room, you kind of not that far away in Muncie with Ball State they kind of didn't want anything to do with you. Was that an extra motivation for you?
It was a motivation to me, in general, that was kind of one, because I low-key did want to go to Ball State. I mean, all my friends was going there. Everybody talking about Ball State, everybody was going to Ball State. All my friends, and I wanted to go there and play football, at least something like walk on or something. I didn't even get that. And then the fact that they didn't show me love, it did kind of make me kind of mad, but it just kept motivating me. Then you see people your peers, they get offers from bigger schools and places, and dang, what about me? I'm putting up work, and I'm I didn't even give up a sack my senior year, and I'm made all state, did all this and all that, and athletic. I'm man, ain't nobody showing me no love. It definitely motivated me. It made me mad, but everything happens for a reason, and obviously they weren't supposed to be a part of my family. Finley was supposed to be a part of my family. And I'm grateful for them, the journey, the things they've done for me, and the time they put into me, and and how they molded me into who I am today. I'm thankful for all my coaches, from Coach Allen to Coach Wags to Coach Ski to all the past coaches, Coach Davis, Coach Keys, all the coaches, that put their time into me.
You mentioned about Coach Allen. I know that there's a hugely special bond between you two. He came out and he saw you when you were in camp this year. How much has he just himself affected your journey of being?
Coach Allen, he's been a very a very essential part of my journey. He's been, in my corner from the very start, and he's my fault. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, he's been, he's been there from the start. He's helped develop me into who I am, man. Been a father away from home. When I came to Findlay, my parents gave me away. They gave me away to Coach Allen. And he's been a good part of my development and helped me become the offensive lineman who I am. This is starting knowledge until he helped me grow to love to play offensive lineman.
That can't be the easiest thing in the world either, because you guys have that different background. Maybe you take him to Indiana and get him some Pizza King.
Oh yeah, some Pizza King. Yeah, that's I gotta take him somewhere else. Pizza King, that's kind of like a Muncie thing. That's like a Muncie thing.
Well, see, I had to go back to it. That's the good news. You didn't go to Muncie, just sit around at Ball State and eat pizza.
Yeah. I don't want to. Yeah, glad I ain't go there, man. I'm glad I was at Heavenly Pizza is the place I like to go to. You know.
I am aware of that. That's
Yeah.
right down the street from my house.
Yeah.
But
Right down the street. Yeah.
fifth offensive lineman to win GMAC Player of the Year. Just an absolutely special group that of the 5 times it's happened, I believe 3 or 4 of you guys played together. I mean, Joseph won it in 24. Logan Bailey won it in 21. You win it in 23. How much does that mean to a university like that to be able to use that stature of continuing to bring guys in and sell them on Findlay football?
Oh, it mean a lot. Let you know, like the development's real. You know, like you come here, like you're gonna get developed by one. I feel like Coach Allen is one of the best college offensive line coaches in the country. Like there's probably every player that he's had that has won an award. He's coached. Who was the first one to win it in the team and the CLIAC? And what's his name? Dang, I know his name, but I can't remember. But I remember watching his film and watching him lock down Judon and watching Andy film and watching him go at it. Andy in the coaching meeting, like it's a culture. Like you come here, you're gonna be a part of a special group, and I'm excited to see it keep going. You know, keep adding to the tradition. You know, Coach Allen's is very good at what he does. He's dedicated to it, and you know, he's he definitely deserves a lot more credit than what people give him, because he's definitely a great coach.
Chris Reaper won it in 15. Andrew Alton won it in
Chris
17.
Reaper. Yep. Chris Reaper. I couldn't remember his name. I was like Chris Reaper, but yeah, Chris Reaper. Yeah, Chris Reaper was the blueprint. Then we watched it with Andrew Alton, and then we watched Logan, then me, then Joseph. You know, like a blueprint. It's a blueprint. Like they set the foundation Chris set the foundation, and then it carried on through all the other guys like Neil Davis, Andrew Dickinson, Logan Bailey, Christian Olmstead. Those guys, all those guys, they carried on the tradition, and it passed down to me, and I'm passing down forward, and Joseph, and then now it just continued to keep passing, and we keep building up that tradition. There's going to be another great offensive lineman come out of Findlay soon, so it's going to happen again. It's not a coincidence.
One of the best stories that I heard about you, I saw an interview that you did with the University of Findlay, and talking about your first game, your first snap at Kentucky Wesleyan, that you were fired up and you knocked the guy across from you just clean on his keister. How keyed up were you for that first play?
Shoot, man, adrenaline was just going through my blood, man. I was just so hyped. I was like, man, it's my first college snap. Like this is big time football. Like I ain't playing high school football no more. I was excited to get out there, because I didn't really know what was going to happen coming in. I thought I was going to redshirt my freshman year, and to get that opportunity to be on the bus, like, no, you're going to be on the bus, you're going to play, and then getting out there, like, man, this is my first snap against some solid some grown men. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And I was just ready to go, show up alone.
I got to believe the best part about that was getting on the bus to go to Kentucky Wesleyan and then getting off the bus, because everything in between, and I know it's cool to hang out with the guys, but that is a long bus ride.
Yeah, it's not the most enjoyable, but it's not the worst bus ride that we've had as a team. We definitely had some worse bus rides now, but it's one of those ones. It's one of those ones like, man, I hate going to Kentucky Wesleyan.
It's got to be the one great thing about the NFL is the travel is a little bit, I would say, roomier, I would think.
Yeah, it's nice. It's real nice. It's okay. Like it has its sometimes it's like, sometimes you may get stuck on like a bad spot of playing being a rookie, but other than that, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Everybody has their superstitions. You said in the interview that I saw that you listened to a lot of Nelly and Kelly Rowland before the game in college. Is that still a jam before the pro games?
Yeah. I always actually, I just wake up and listen to it. I wake up and listen to it one time, and then the set like calm me down a little bit, and then I start to ramp up, and I just play my regular music. But I definitely listen to it every game. Every game day I listen to it.
Well, if it gets you fired up, it probably doesn't help driving through traffic in Indianapolis.
Oh yeah, it'll get you through, man. It's a long enough song to make the drive go by quicker.
Your video when you got the call from John Schneider, I can't play it, but your reaction, I watched 5 or 6 times to hear you laugh and you curse when John Schneider calls you to get picked. You look down, you see the phone, you obviously know the area code, you've been talking to the Seahawks, talking to different people, but do you your hand is shaking the entire time during that moment when they call you?
I mean, it wasn't shaking because I hadn't had a Seattle call me. Like, I was just curious because I didn't know the area code. I wasn't familiar with it, and then I seen like a 42. I think it was like a 425 number. I'm like, man, who is this? I'm like, I'm thinking it's spam. Like, I was for sure thinking just let it ring. I thought it was spam, but I answered it and I was like, for real? I'm thinking it's like because I didn't think it was gonna happen because like you just don't know in those 6th and 7th rounds. Like it's like the wild wild west. Like you can go from being projected a 4th round pick to going undrafted. Like and that not being the case for me. Like actually getting drafted, that was like it's a real feeling. Like I didn't expect it at all, and and once it set in, I'm like, man, this is crazy. And then when I hung up the phone, I didn't even tell my family what had happened. I was just like, hey, look at the screen. And we were just sitting there looking at the screen while it was going on.
Is that a long weekend, though, because of the way that they do these drafts of, if you're projected, you're talking about 4th round, kind of middle, where you go through a couple of days and you just have to kind of sit and watch the TV of, hey, I know that guy. I'm happy for him, but someone's mispronouncing my name.
Yeah, that waiting around for it to happen was it was long. Like I didn't want to have a party. I'm not really like a party type of guy. Like my parents ended up making me have one. And I'm like, all right, so we just invited the family over and stuff. And then it did get kind of long. And my dad took a nap. Like he was sitting there asleep. Like he was asleep through the whole 5th round. I'm like, all right. And then I had got to talking to my agent about like some teams and some possible landing spots like for after the draft. And then we just sitting around waiting and chilling. I'm entertaining and being a party host. And the next thing I know, I get a call. But it was boring for a little bit, though. It was boring. He's like, dang, okay, all right. But when the 6th and 7th rounds got up, and I knew that was like where my agent had told me that's a possible like a landing spot for me. I mean, it did kind of get kind of nervous. I'm like, okay, like what's going to happen? Like, this team? I know this team's interested in me. Then you see them pick somebody else, and you're like, oh, dang.
Well, and it's the hardest thing, I would think, too, because with being a 6th round pick, that means Seattle passed on you 5 times of, hey, you guys could have given me a call a little bit earlier. I would have been able to wake Dad up, and we could have gone to get something to eat.
Yeah, they passed on me twice that round already. I was the last pick of their draft picks. They had 2 6th round picks prior to me. So yeah, they probably could have called me a little earlier, man. I would have been, a little like, could have got the day going. Could have went to go get some dinner.
Right, could have gone to a movie.
A movie or something. Yeah, but man, it was a long morning, man. A long morning. Like I had got up early that morning. I talked to some teams before. Talked to like 3 or 4 teams before and how they see I fit, and then talking to offensive line coaches of those teams, and like okay, and my agent told me, hey, Seattle might pick you. I didn't even talk to Seattle that day. I hadn't talked to Seattle since I left Seattle for my visit. They didn't call me, nothing. They when they sent me back home, I didn't hear from them again until draft day.
Well, and the crazy thing about it is, you before that call, you're a college player waiting on that call. After that call, you're an NFL football player, and that someone has called you and said, we want to give you a job playing football. You are probably better than I, because I would have just went to a Wendy's just to walk in with my chest puffed out of, I play in the NFL. I need a cheeseburger.
Yeah, but my brother has stayed downtown. Because he lives in downtown Indianapolis, and we went out and walked. We was just so excited. We went out and walked. It was a nice day, sunny out, man. It's actually a perfect Sunday for real. But we just, man, we're enjoying the moment. Excited, like yelling around, like we excited and stuff. But and then I came back, and then people were like, "Dang, what was all the commotion like?" Oh, they was like, "Oh, you the one? You just got drafted? Oh, congratulations!" Like the people who were around the building. They was like, "Oh man, congratulations!" It was such a surreal moment, though. I was definitely walking around with my chest pumped out for a few hours. But it was a good moment.
One of those other things that had to kind of be a cool coming of age moment is before you start your season, you go back to Pike High School and you speak at the youth football camp. You're now molding that next generation of possibly Mike Jerrell's. What's that like to look out at those kids and go, hey, you better be paying attention because once I was you and listening to guys like me might not have been the coolest thing back then, but take some lessons here.
Then, well, growing up, like I went back to my high school because, like, growing up, like Pike doesn't have a long history of like NFL players. I mean, we have one under NFL player that played in NFL, and I mean, I never got to see him or him come around and like it's a basketball school. And when I got to come back around and like they can see my face and like. And they see me on the news or they see me in newspapers or in Pike articles and stuff like that. And to give them a chance to actually meet me and be around me and like learn from me and stuff like that, like, shoot, that meant the world to me. It was like, and you notice a big difference when you just like some random guy just coming here trying to give out some pointers. But like when you come back and like you're essentially like the guy, like, oh, he's in the NFL, like kids do pay a little bit more attention. They are like, striving to like work a little bit harder, and they do care about what you think. But I try to let them know like, hey, like just because I'm in the NFL, like they don't mean you got to give me special attention or like you supposed to get special attention to your coaches too, because these guys are taken away from their families, to teach you and all that, and like listen to them, like always don't shy away from it. Listen to them and like listen to what they have to say because it could be beneficial and it can help you get better. And, I try to instill that into them so that they just don't like, oh, let me listen to him because he's the NFL player. And my coach don't know what they're talking about. Now, your coaches do know what they're talking about. They same coach that coached you, coach me. And, so, yeah, that's what I try to do when I go back. And it was good. I'm going to go back this summer, spend some more time with them, hopefully eventually have a camp there and spend some time with the community and give back just so, I'm pretty sure everybody in the community knows about me at this point, but just so
if
they
they
can
don't, they hear you yelling coming down the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mike's in the building. Transition for you from Findlay, where you start 40 straight games. You then go to the NFL. You end up starting 3 games, but you don't start till October. You're trying to put yourself in a new portion of the world because you're a Midwest kid. You go out there to Seattle, everything's big, everything's different. You're trying to kind of learn as much as possible. The first time that they tell you in October, hey, you're going to be the starter for this week, do you just take a moment to collect yourself, or you kind of had to try to play cool, I'm going to handle business this week?
Shoot, man, I was just trying to collect myself, to be honest. Like, I was nervous, and I knew it, like, I had already knew I was going to kind of like start. In a sense, like they were still trying to figure out, like one of our players had just got hurt, and they were trying to figure out what was going on with him. And like he was telling, I'm at communication with him and saying how he's feeling, and then the coach in communication with me, like, and he's like, Brian, I can't play this week. And then they brought in, and then they brought in Jason Peters, and like, okay, they brought in Jason to play, but Jason said he's not ready to play. So it's like, nah, Mike, you got to play. And I'm like, let's go, like let's do it, man. I'm nervous though, but let's do it, like and I went out there, and it wasn't nothing like what I wanted. It was like, I think the game was easier than what I did. Was easier than practice, to be honest. Like the players I was going against, not to say anything bad about them, but like I feel like practice is just like it's like war out there. Like everybody's trying to get better at their craft, and then the game, it just makes the game so much easier for real. Like that's like true. Like what you face in practice, regardless of any team, is going to be so hard. When you get to the game, it's easy. It ain't nothing to be stressed about. And that built up my confidence and helped me get going in the game.
Luckily, guys, that winning that game by 20. I mean, Atlanta is a team that they're just going to continue to come at you. I know that they like to throw different things and guys who seem to come from everywhere. So that's really, I think it's a testament to Seattle. And you go through, but was that an adjustment at first of coming out of, like I was saying, of being a starter for years, and then all of a sudden I kind of have to learn a different way and just kind of bide my time and put in that work?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. It definitely was a learning adjustment period. Like, you go from being a guy to just being you going from being the guy to just being a guy. Just a guy on the roster. You could be here next week, going to next week. You go from you going from star to this very expendable in a short month span. And like and then actually getting the chance to start, like that's that changed my mind like a lot. Like, it just and then it just shows how they believe in me too. Like, because I mean, on the outside looking in, a lot of people thought I probably wouldn't have made the team, or they thought if I did make the team, I was never going to play or make the team and be an eventual cut. And to make the team and be an eventual starter, start some games in my rookie year, way ahead of schedule than what most people thought. Like, coming from D2 to the NFL, like that was crazy. Like, that was like yeah, it showed how hard I work and showed how much they believe in me.
See, I've always thought that was an interesting thing, too, because there are a lot of D2 and D3 guys, Ohio Northern, Mount Union, teams like that John Carroll, that put guys in the NFL I don't think people realize just because you didn't play D1 football doesn't mean you can't play football. And that I don't know if it gives D2, D3 guys an edge, but maybe a little bit more of a chip of, I'm going to work that much harder because, like you said, no one believes I'm going to do it.
Yeah, it does bring a chip. It does bring a chip to you. Like, even when I'm out there playing, like, people like, bro, how did you end up at D2, bro? Like, or when they see me in person, like, bro, like, you play Division II football? Like, it just, like, yeah, like, they just couldn't believe it. And it does add a chip to you. But then after a while, like, you got to just realize, like, it don't matter where you come from. Like, ball is ball. And you can't always have it, like, man, or I played a Division II. Like, like, yeah, like, when you're doing good, like, yeah, bro, you played a D1, I played a D2, and I'm doing better than you. But then when you do bad, you like, man, I'm not used to this. I played a D2. You can't. So I had to get rid of that. Oh, I played a D2. I'm like, nah, I'm here because I belong here, regardless of what level and regardless of my past. Like, I'm here because I belong, and keep pushing. Good play, bad play, next play. Like, it don't even matter where you came from. It's how you finish.
I gotta ask, because I love this story when a lot of guys talk about it, that the first time it happened to them was just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
You pull up Madden, and now you see your name, you see your likeness. How awesome is that to be able to pull that up of just, hey, that's me?
Shoot, it happened to me when I got online playing the game. I played the game online, and then just seeing when I was starting, and to see, like, when I play online against other teams with the Seahawks, I'm starting. Like, that was like crazy. I'm like, man, they got me starting on here. Like, I'm my brothers, and like, then people, hit me up and showing me. It was crazy. Like, I'm like, bro, I'm on Madden. Like, I've always wanted to be on a video game. Like you go create characters all the time, and that you got a character already made for you, like your likeness, your number, your swag and all that, bro. He's on there for you. Like, you ain't had to do none of that. That's crazy. I definitely boosted my ratings up, though, but it was a crazy feeling.
That's funny, because that's exactly what I was going to ask of, hey, what happened to the rating that I created for this guy when I made me? Why isn't that number that high?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely put my guy up to a 99, man. He a Hall of Famer right now. I'm like in year 12.
I mean, that's the way to do it. I guess my follow-up to that is, how are you online? Are you beating guys by a lot of numbers with the Seahawks?
Man, I've had some games where I'm blowing somebody out. I had some games where I done got blown out because I'm not good at Madden. Like, I'm not a good DC. I'm a good OC, but I'm not a good DC.
I just simulate that, so I don't have to play defense.
Okay, simulate it online. You got to go through the grind.
I know, that's the worst part. It was like, you could just have your touchdown. I'll win 50-48. I don't care.
Yeah, no, literally, I can dice them up in the pass game, but I can't in defense. It's a hit or a miss.
Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed this. I love what you're doing, University of Findlay and the Seattle Seahawks, and I love the Indy Proud and the Northwest Ohio part of you that made it, and it will continue to make it and do big things. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time out to giving me the time today to talk.
I'm thrilled to be able to do it. That's Mike Jerrell, the University of Findlay All-American, and the Seattle Seahawks. Back in a couple of minutes. Hoop season is here, and Heritage Floors is excited to work with so many local schools and organizations to make their gym floors something the community can be proud of. Our professional installers and design team offer precision work that comes backed by over 40 years of experience. Local Northwest Ohio school districts, the University of Dayton, Ohio Northern University, and the NBA have trusted Heritage Floors to design, install, refurbish, recoat, and maintain their gym floors since 1987. Trust your hardwood gym floor services to Heritage Floors, located in Ottawa, Ohio. For a free estimate, please contact us today. 419-523-5556 via email at herfloors523@gmail.com, on our website at heritagefloors.net, or on Facebook to get more information.
We hope you've enjoyed this edition of Around the Hearn. Come back next week for more local stories from the NWO. But until then, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Michael Hearn PBP for more great area content.